what's been happening in West Africa is there has been this white evangelical movement in many countries in West Africa to criminalize LGBT folks. And you might say why. And if I'm wrong, you're from Nigeria, please correct me. I have a very close friend of mine who's from Burkina Faso. I have another friend of mine who's from Senegal. And from what they tell me is that kind of what we're doing over here when it comes to immigrants and trans folks. If they can find a way to convince people the reason why Nigeria or Burkina Faso or Senegal or Uganda has such turmoil for whatever reason, it's not because of corruption. It's not because of a legacy of colonialism. It's not because of horrible poverty and wage discrimination and the have and the have-nots. It's because of the gay people who are sinful and bringing all this hell on you. Do I
Yes.
have that? Do I have that right? If I have that wrong, please correct me. Because
No,
that's it's the scapegoat, which we do over
you're
here.
right. Amnesty International did a study in 2012. 97% of Nigerians said that gay people are the cause of the country problem. And we are a new democracy. Not on, we got our independence in 1960 from the Brits. And in 1963, there was a civil war, the Biafra War, whereby within Nigeria, we were fighting on who deserved to be a Nigerian. And it's like Christians versus Muslims are fighting about our own identity. And Europeans, they pick their sides. Portuguese pick a side, British pick a side, Americans pick a side. My father lost his siblings to famine because there was hunger during that
Mm.
war. So when I was growing up, my father told me that it's not like he's not in support of me as a gay person, but he was just so much afraid of the kind of difficulty I was going to face in the world out there. So trying to protect me, he wanted me to be a man. And to be a true African man, you can't be gay. So my father wanted me to be married to a woman. It was a very difficult life for me. So I got into college and I moved far away from my family. But there was an overrushing narrative about what it takes to be a true African person is being married to a woman, having a children, and it's like God's own country because evangelicals have lost the war, yeah, when they passed gay rights in 2012. So they moved to Africa and say, look at the West. They are already destroying themselves. Don't be like those people. You can be God's own country by protecting yourself from these devilish acts that the West is signing on to.
But I do want to understand though. Um, you're talking about the legalities of it and what white Christian missionaries did. But it's still but there was still crazy homophobia, right? It was still like
No,
it still
no,
wasn't easy to be gay in Africa even before they
no,
came along, right?
no. It
Yeah.
was like, from my experience, it was like kiss and don't tell.
Okay, don't ask, don't tell. Got you, got you.
Yeah, it's like we don't talk about it. There's no reason to talk about it. I used to say that I used to live in the gay capital of West Africa. That is
Mm.
Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, because there is like an infusion of both Western culture and African culture in Abuja, because it's like a diplomatic town. It's like Washington, D.C. And it was like kiss and don't tell. The homosexuality law that was passed to criminalize same-sex religion was written by evangelicals who paid legislators to
Mm.
pass a harsher law to criminalize same-sex religion, homosexuality. When this law was passed, what happened was a dramatic change of how I perceive my home country because
Mm.
they went into the homes of people, dragged them out of their homes like vigilantes, beating people on the streets. And would you rather be beaten by vigilante or be arrested and persecuted by law. It
Mm.
was like there is no safe place to go anymore. I
After that law. Mm.
I was working for a clinic that provided healthcare treatment for gay men. After the law was passed, my clinic police came in and like cracked down. So there was no place for people to have access to medication, people who are HIV positive. There was a lot of stigma. My friends died of HIV because they were
Mm.
afraid to go access treatment. So they rather stay at home, be sick and die than go to a clinic and have access to treatment. Then they came for me. Like I was in my apartment because my names and photograph have been published. A mob of almost 400 people. They broke down my door. I live in like a
Jesus.
one-bedroom apartment. It's like a
400 people? That's like a lynching.
they were people were in the back and the front. It's like everywhere I was surrounded. They
Jesus.
dragged me out. Kids were singing. They tied belt on my waist, like I was naked, and they were singing, like parading me naked on the street, like just to
Kids were singing?
kids were singing like that. That was what my memoir was about. It's like he's gay. We have found out, and we were going to kill him.
Wait,
That
they
was a
hold on a
chant.
second. They pulled you out of your home. You were naked and they had you said a belt around your neck. Is that what you
Bell
said?
bell around my waist.
Around your waist and
So
you're
the
naked
bell.
in front of children, people and there's that sounds like a lynching straight from the 1920s. My God. How did you get out of that? What did you do? They just
I,
let you go eventually?
I didn't get out of it. They beat me up. I blacked out.
Brother.
I was taken to a clinic, and in the clinic, I think 3 days afterwards, when I woke up, I knew I had to leave Nigeria. If
Jesus.
you, I still have the scars on my body, on my forehead, on my arm, on my back. So I decided to leave Nigeria. I didn't have anywhere to go. I traveled to the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, because that was the easiest place I could get a visa to. But I couldn't seek refuge there because as a gay man, I'm not even allowed to be a gay person in the United Arab Emirates.
Dafi, yo, I just want to say I'm just so happy that you're here, man. You know, my area of
I am happy
expertise.
I am here too.
Yeah, I'm just happy that you're here and you're doing well because my area of expertise is Black history and especially the Reconstruction era. And what you described sounds like something straight out of white violence against Black people in the South, and you're saying that you experienced that in your own country in Nigeria. So I could talk to you forever, but I do want to get into your campaign because you're running for city council. Now, I have to say, I got to be fair here. The incumbent that's in that role, I always say his last name wrong. Sean
I
Abreu.
bring
Am I
you.
saying it?
I
Yeah.
bring you.
So, brother, he has a really good voting record. I really like his voting record. He's done some good stuff. So, tell me why you are challenging him. He seems to really be on the right team. So why? And I believe he is Dominican, and West Harlem has a large Dominican and Black population. To
Yeah,
be clear, there are plenty of Black Dominicans. I'm
yeah.
not saying they're the same. They're totally different.
And
But a
Upper West
large.
Side.
Say
So
it
it's
again.
Upper West Side, West Harlem, Hamilton Heights, and Washington Heights.
Exactly. So, but why are you challenging him? Because he appears to be on the right side of things, man.
Yeah. Three things you should know is that the same forces we are fighting nationally with Republicans, they are still playing a role at the local level. So in New York
Absolutely.
City, we have Solidarity PAC. They are APAC at the New York City level. So they
Mm.
pick candidates that are anti-progressives to unseat progressives on the city council. So Solidarity PAC have 6 candidates that are trying to kick out the most progressive people in city council. And the incumbent, Sean Abreu, left the progressive caucus because of their tax to fight against police violence against Black people. And he refused to
Mm.
sign onto the Progressive Caucus mandates that more funding should be given to mental health and less funding to the police. It's like redistributing how funding is being spent. He joined the Progressive Caucus at the beginning in 2022 when he got into the city council. And the mandate from the Progressive Caucus was that the police, NYPD, have a big budget, spent a lot on overtime, and less on mental health services. And he refused to sign on to that mandate and left the Progressive Caucus. Endorsed Mayor Eric Adams in 2021 and voted for all Eric Adams' budgets. And just recently, the Adams budget he voted for cut $200 million to city education. And look at his
Mm.
backers. He's been backed by Bill Ackman. He's been backed by Uber. The same forces that are backing Republicans at the national level are backing a local city council candidate. And look at the spend that they are spending against me. I don't take money from real estate developers, charter school, or any corporate pack. I'm being outspent 4-1 by the same group that are backing Republicans at the national level. They are the same people backing him. And we say in our politics in New York City, if it smells for those same Republicans, it should smell at the local level. So this race is about accountability for public housing, public education, and traditional Medicare for city workers.
Well, listen, I'm all about folks being challenged, and I love that you're challenging him. You don't like what you've seen, so you're saying he began more progressive, and now he's been shape shifting. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so when he won in city council seat in 2022, he joined the Progressive Caucus. And
Right, right.
2 years afterwards, he left the Progressive Caucus because there was a lot of police violence that resulted Eric Garner's death and George Floyd's murder. So the Progressive Caucus are council people that caucus together to vote on progressive bills at New York City Council. And they made a mandate in 2023 that for you to remain a member of the Progressive Caucus, you have to sign on to a legislation that will give more money to mental health services and redistribute how funding is being spent with policing in New York City. And he couldn't sign on to that. So he left the Progressive
Oh, how
Caucus.
can folks donate and support you, brother?
It's very easy. I'm being outspent like 5-1 by big tech.
Mm.
So if you go to EDAFE 2025, if you go to the website, you see how you can donate. One thing I have learned through this process of running for office is that when you see candidates that are principled and don't take money from corporate PAC, I I appreciate that more now going through this process because 99% of elected officials spend their time raising money rather than caring about the people. That's why our politics look like what it is today, because people care about the special interests over the interests of everyday people.